Hey, what's up, guys? So, we have a very interesting news story here. So, first off, I know it says July 4th on here, but what's funny is July 3rd actually turned out to be the hottest day on Earth in the entire history of the world, like in the last 100 years or something like that. Let me go look. Yeah, according to this Forbes article, July 4th was the Earth's hottest day in over 100,000 years. But the funny part is the record was broken on July 3rd. So July 3rd was the hottest day on Earth in 100,000 years. And then July 4th broke that record. And now scientists are saying that they think that later on this month, the record's going to be broken again. And then next month is going to be broken again. And the bottom line is climate change is a very serious thing, and we are now really starting to see the effects of this thing. And you know what's funny about that, guys? I remember being a child. I will never forget this because there was such a huge push for it in the early 2000s. I remember when I was a child, literally like elementary school, like third, fourth, fifth grade in the early 2000s. We're talking like 2001, 2002, 2003, like around that time. I think that was around the time when The Day After Tomorrow came out, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go look at when The Day After Tomorrow came out because I remember that was one of those movies that really stuck with me. Okay, 2004. There you go. The Day After Tomorrow. So, yeah, for those who don't know, this film, The Day After Tomorrow, was basically about climate change. Like, basically, the climate had gotten so bad that the world basically ended. And the world's storms and awful climate basically destroyed the world. Like something like that. I don't know. Movie came out 20 years ago. I was a freaking kid. But I remember that movie came out. And I remember there was this politician named Al Gore, who I know a lot of you guys know. Al Gore and a bunch of other scientists led a initiative back in the day, 20 years ago, warning people that global warming is real, climate change is real, and if we don't do something, we are literally going to destroy the earth, or we're going to make conditions on the earth really uncomfortable for human beings that are going to lead to all kinds of problems like massive heat, bigger storms, scarier storms, and blah, 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 and famines and hunger and all that crap if we don't tackle climate change. This was said 20 years ago. We are now 20 years ahead into the future. I'm not 8 years old anymore. I'm 28 years old now. And we still have not done anything, at least in my opinion, to stop or reverse climate change. And unfortunately, we've got half the population who doesn't even think that it's real, even though you have signs like this, which, in my opinion, prove that the scientists are correct. Climate change is real. The earth is getting hotter. And this is going to lead to all kinds of problems if we don't freaking do something. So it says right here, Tuesday was the hottest day on Earth since at least 1979, with the global average temperature reaching 62.92 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, this is the average temperature on the entire planet of Earth, not just the hotter climate. So it may not have been the hottest day where you lived, but in Earth in general, it was the hottest day, period, on the planet. Because I know here in Chicago, it's gotten to 100 and some degrees before. Yesterday, it was like 92, which it was hot, but it wasn't like you're dying. You know what I mean? But they're talking about the entire Earth. So it says here, as a result, some scientists believe July 4th may have been one of the hottest days on Earth in around 125,000 years due to a dangerous combination of climate change causing global temperatures to soar, the return of the El Nino pattern, and the start of summer in the northern hemisphere. In the United States, 57 million people were exposed to dangerous heat on Tuesday, according to the Washington Post Extreme Heat Tracker. At the same time, China was gripped by a sizzling heat wave. The Antarctic is hotter than usual during its winter, and temperatures in the north of Africa reached 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Jesus Christ, Africa's hot. Can you guys imagine that? Temperatures in the north of Africa reached 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I know some of you guys might live in Texas or Arizona. I know Texas and Arizona get crazy. They get to the hundreds too. I get it. But man, 122 degrees Fahrenheit is absolutely insane. Tuesday's global average temperature was calculated by a model that uses data from weather stations, ships, ocean. Okay, well, we already understand what's going on here. So basically, the bottom line is climate change is a serious thing. I can't believe that they were first pushing and sounding the alarm on this 20 years ago when I was a freaking kid going to the movies with my dad as an 8-year-old boy to see The Day After Tomorrow, however old I was. I think I was 10 or whatever because I was born in 94. So yeah, I was probably 10 or 9. But anyway, still a kid. And they were talking about this. And 20 years later, like I said, I haven't really seen anything. Like I know we got this thing called like the Paris Agreement, right? Don't quote me on this stuff because I don't know much about climate. I pay attention a little bit. What's it called? The Paris Agreement. I pay attention to this stuff a little bit, guys. Yeah, it is called the Paris Agreement. I pay attention to this stuff a little bit, but obviously I'm not a climate expert. I don't know much about it. I do think that it's important. I do think that we should do a lot to stop it. But it is unfortunate that we have a lot of prominent figures in politics who honestly don't believe that climate change is a real thing or that, the earth changing is a real thing and they just completely dismiss it and they think it's all bull crap and fake. But literally we're seeing it right now. Monday and Tuesday were the hottest days on earth. You got all these like ice glaciers in the north melting and all this stuff, just all this bad stuff the scientists are trying to explain to you is not going to be good for the near future. And the sad thing is for the old people in power, because keep in mind, the average politician is like 80 years old. They're freaking old as dirt. So of course they don't care, which is sad because you would think that they would at least care for their kids, but clearly they don't. But the bottom line is these folks who are 80 years old, 84 years old, who won't be here in the next 20 years, then yeah, they don't care. Like, not going to affect them. But for people like my age and most of you guys watching, because the average person who watches my channel was like 25 to 40. So all of you guys are young enough where, and 50. And I do want to shout out the people who are older too. But my point is, the folks who are freaking 85 don't care because, yeah, it's self-explanatory. But it's unfortunate because this is going to affect us. When the climate starts changing and things start getting crazy and you start seeing crazy weather, which we've already been seeing, like make no mistake. At least I feel like I've been saying. I feel like over the last few years, we've seen some absolutely insane weather. And I think that climate change is just really important. And I think that we should take this stuff seriously. And it's unfortunate that our government does not take it seriously when I'm seeing a lot of countries around the world that are taking this seriously. And yeah, I just think that if we don't take this seriously, guys, I think we are going to be in some huge, massive trouble. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't remember climate ever being a big voting issue, but I definitely think that climate should be part of why you vote because, if you don't got a world to live on, you won't have any of this. There won't be politics to vote on or a government to complain about or any of the world issues. You won't have any of that if you don't have a freaking world to live on. So yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next one.